And I mean, not because you lack effort or discipline, but because you feel like you're giving 110% toward a goal that, frankly, you suspect might be the wrong one, then this deep dive is specifically for you.
Yeah, that feeling is the worst. Spinning your wheels.
Exactly. We've looked at a huge stack of sources covering everything from startup strategy to, you know, personal productivity, and they all converge on one critical insight.
Right.
We are often spinning our wheels because we have a throughput problem, and the bottleneck isn't time management or hustle, it's vision.
It's always vision. The sources, they call it the scarcest node,
Mhm.
limiting everything else you do.
That's such a great way to put it. Think of your entire strategic effort, your business, your career, as this huge plumbing system.
Right.
You can spend all day widening the pipes, improving your efficiency, hiring more people, building better systems. But if the main valve controlling the flow is still tiny, nothing gets faster.
And that tiny restrictive valve.
That's an unclear or unvalidated vision.
Exactly. And I think we've been conditioned to believe that strategic vision is this mystical, singular epiphany.
Right, something that only happens when you are meditating on a mountaintop.
It's paralyzing.
Oh.
If you wait for that flash of inspiration, you wait forever.
So what's the alternative?
Our core mission today is to completely flip that script. Vision isn't a mystical epiphany. It's a hypothesis to be tested.
Okay, I like that.
We're moving it out of the realm of philosophy and into the realm of, well, data science. We're going to unpack a framework based on running small asymmetric experiments.
Small asymmetric experiment.
Yeah, these are tests designed to generate high-value strategic data quickly, where the cost of the test is negligible, but the potential upside is, practically infinite.
So the goal isn't to build a perfect 10-year plan right now.
Not at all.
The goal is to design tests that cost almost nothing, but could save you 10 years of wasted effort. But before we get into the 3 specific experiments the sources outline, we need to define the data we're looking for. I mean, what is the single metric we should be optimizing for when testing a strategic vision?
It's not profit yet, and it's definitely not feasibility. It's resonance.
Resonance.
When you are testing for strategic direction, resonance is the signal that tells you this path is worth the pain of walking.
Okay, so break that down. What does resonance actually mean here?
We break it down into 2 crucial components. First, there's the internal personal side, internal resonance.
The gut check.
The gut check, exactly.
Okay.
Or, as the sources call it, the regret minimization filter. Does the work required to achieve this vision give you energy, or does it drain it?
That's a big one.
It's huge. If the idea is brilliant, but the daily grind to get there makes you want to crawl under the covers, the idea will fail. Guaranteed. Your gut check is the ultimate veto power.
That's a critical distinction. A lot of people choose the smart path, the one that will make the most money or gain the most prestige. But if they hate the day-to-day work, they stall out or they burn out.
Precisely. And that brings us to the second component, external resonance.
So the outside world?
Right. This is the market validation. You have to ask, does the network or the market respond to this signal? Are you shouting into a vacuum, or is someone out there listening and, nodding vigorously?
The audience's beta check.
That's the one.
Oh.
You need that quick external feedback to confirm the hypothesis matters to others, not just to you.
So you need both, internal drive and external demand.
You have to have both.
If you have internal resonance but no external demand, you have a really fun hobby.
A hobby, exactly. And if you have external demand but no internal resonance, you just have a miserable job.
Right. We're aiming for the intersection. Let's look at the first asymmetric experiment.
Let's do it.
Okay, so experiment A, which the sources suggest, is the thesis tweet.
The thesis tweet.
This experiment is ideally suited for you if you have a general area of interest, say decentralized finance or the future of personalized education.
Right, a broad field.
But you haven't yet crystallized that interest into a specific product or a focused path.
This one leans heavily into external resonance. It leverages that audience's beta model because markets, especially intellectual networks, offer the fastest feedback loop available.
Yeah, you don't need 6 months and $50,000 to build a prototype.
You only need a clear, well-articulated thesis. And that clarity is why the length is so important. The first step is to draft a 200-word manifesto.
200 words, that's it.
That's it, or a short, crisp thread about a specific problem you believe needs solving in the next decade. And the reason for 200 words, it forces maximal clarity. It demands you cut the jargon and get to the core insight.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, the one in the sources is fantastic. Instead of saying, I want to improve communication, you write, the future of remote work isn't Zoom, it's asynchronous audio. Here is why real-time video is destroying deep work.
Oh, I love that. That's a sharp thesis that forces a reaction.
It's provocative and specific. It's not just a statement of fact, it's a prediction that demands defense.
Okay, so once that 200 words is hammered out, the next step is deployment. You have to cast the net where the right fish are swimming.
That's it. You publish this to your highest leverage network. That might be LinkedIn, X, a specialized Slack group, or a niche forum where experts in that field gather.
The commitment is tiny, but the deployment has to be strategic.
Exactly.
Okay, here's my challenge, though. If I post this and it gets 1,000 likes, isn't that just a vanity metric? How do I know if the response means I should actually quit my job and pursue this?
That's the exact question we need to ask. And you are absolutely right. Volume is almost meaningless. This is where the data collection gets really interesting.
So it's not the likes.
You look at the quantitative data, sure, likes, shares, but the truly valuable data is qualitative.
Okay.
You need to know who DMs you. More importantly, do high-trust people engage? The sources specifically refer to this as checking for eigenvector trust.
Eigenvector trust. Okay, you have to break that down for us because that sounds highly technical.
Right, yeah, it sounds super technical, but it's actually pretty simple. Think of it this way. It's not just the volume of engagement, it's the weight of the engagement.
Weight.
Yeah. If you posted your thesis on remote work and the CEO of a major tech company that just went fully remote replies and says, this is exactly what we're trying to solve, let's talk, that carries disproportionate weight.
Ah, okay. That person's validation influences others.
It's the difference between 1,000 likes from strangers and one direct message from the person who literally wrote the book you admire on that topic.
That makes perfect sense. So you're looking for signals from the people who are currently shaping the field, not just general agreement.
Precisely. And don't neglect the internal data here, too.
Right, the resonance check.
Yeah, the true test of internal resonance during this external experiment is, did you actually enjoy defending the idea in the comments section?
Oh, that's a good one.
When someone disagrees with your thesis, not rudely, but thoughtfully, do you find yourself energized to hit reply and elaborate? Or do you dread opening the app?
If you dread defending your core idea, that's a massive signal of incompatibility.
It's a huge red flag. That is a fundamental filter. If you don't want to live inside that idea and defend it every day for the next decade, it's not your vision.
And when you look at the asymmetry,
it's profound. What is the downside of the thesis tweet? You spent 15 minutes drafting, and maybe you get 0 high-value responses.
Right. The cap on risk is virtually 0.
And the upside. You might find a co-founder, secure immediate validation that the problem is huge, or locate your first paying customer. The risk-reward ratio is just profoundly skewed in your favor.
Okay, so we've gathered the market's data, but now what about our own engine? Because if we hate the idea, the external validation doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Let's talk about that internal calibration using Experiment B, the Amazon press release.
My favorite one.
This test is best for you if you're currently wrestling between, say, 2 or 3 different potential strategic paths.
The concept here is pure backcasting, combined with that essential regret minimization filter. This is the famous method pioneered by Amazon.
They mandate writing the internal press release for the product before they build it.
Before a line of code is written. Why? To force clarity on the final impact and to see if the outcome is exciting enough to justify the massive effort.
So what does that look like for a listener?
The experiment is simple, but it's really powerful. You need to draft a 1-page press release dated today plus 10 years. So, for the year 2035.
10 years out.
10 years.
Oh.
And this document must read as if it were published in the Wall Street Journal describing your monumental success.
Wow.
And the sources are very specific about the mandates for this draft. It can't just be a vague wish list. You have to include 2 non-negotiable components.
Okay, what are they?
First, the headline must be tangible and concrete. It must include your name company solves specific problem impacting quantified number of people.
You must quantify the impact.
You have to. Did you solve the problem for 10 million remote workers? Did you help 50,000 families achieve financial security? The quantification forces you to define massive scale.
That's where the ambition comes in. We're not writing a memo about a small improvement. We're defining a 10-year success story that changed the world.
Yes. And the second mandatory component.
What is it?
You need a fictional, yet emotionally resonant, customer quote. Quote, This quote must describe exactly how their life has been radically changed by your solution.
And not corporate speak.
No, please no. Make it real and visceral. For instance, because of this new system, I finally got to see my kid's piano recital, something I missed for the first 5 years of my career.
That's the emotional anchor. When I've done exercises like this, that quote is the hardest part. It makes the hypothetical impact feel terrifyingly real.
That terror is exactly what you're testing for.
Yeah.
This is where we gather the truly crucial internal data.
To gut check.
The ultimate gut check. After you finish writing, the sources recommend a mandatory step. You must read it aloud, alone, in a quiet room. Listen to yourself saying those words.
And what are you listening for?
Here is the test. Does this bore you? Does it sound like something you should do because society expects it, or something you have to do because the need is so urgent?
And if it's boredom?
If the answer is boredom, you delete it immediately, throw it away. You just saved yourself a decade.
Wow. I think that's the hardest part, writing what you have to do versus what you should do. I read a press release once that was technically perfect, promising massive efficiency gains, but reading it felt totally hollow. I had to throw it away.
That hollowness is a powerful failure signal. The successful signal, the high-value vision, is when it scares you because the vision is so audacious.
Okay, so fear is a good thing here.
A certain kind of fear. If it makes you wildly uncomfortable, yet your pulse quickens, that is the signal. That's the work that will sustain you through the inevitable 4 years of hard, boring implementation that will be required to get there.
And when you analyze the asymmetry here, the upside is truly immense.
It is. The cost is negligible. You spent, 30 to 45 minutes of focused journaling? The payout is that you potentially save 5 years of effort climbing the wrong ladder.
A ladder that you would have found boring and meaningless once you got to the top.
Exactly. The sources emphasize starting here with the press release, because finding that internal sustaining motivation is the anchor for everything else.
Without it, external validation just leads to quick burnout.
Total burnout.
That anchor is crucial. But once we have that internal clarity, we still need to validate if anyone will actually open their wallet for it.
Right. Time for the ultimate test.
That brings us to our final low-commitment test, Experiment C, the painted door.
The painted door.
Classic.
This experiment is best for you if you think you have a specific product or solution mapped out, but you are paralyzed by the commitment required to actually build the MVP.
Yeah, maybe you need $10,000 and 6 months of development time, and that commitment just feels too scary.
This test is all about high-velocity iteration, testing the demand before you commit to building the supply.
Right. The concept of the painted door is a classic in business strategy. You paint a door on a wall, put up a sign, and if enough people try to walk through it,
you know you need to build a real entrance there.
So how do we build the painted door today without writing any code or spending any money?
The first step is to build the collateral. This means creating a simple landing page, maybe a free tool like Card, or even just a detailed professional-looking PDF outline.
For the solution you might want to build.
Exactly. Maybe it's the 10-year portfolio consulting service targeted at high-net-worth parents, or a specialized AI scheduling tool. It just has to look real and solve a specific problem.
So you're selling the solution and the impact, not the code.
Precisely. And then, crucially, the sources mandate the second step. You must ask for the sale.
Ask for the sale.
You take that PDF or link and send it to exactly 10 people in your network who fit the absolute ideal customer profile.
And you ask them directly.
Directly, without qualification. I am thinking of launching this. Would you buy it for $100? Or whatever your first reasonable price point is. You have to attach a real price point.
Offering it for free completely destroys the data.
It destroys the data. You are testing demand, not curiosity.
But what if I ask 10 people and they all tell me it's a great idea? How do I know if that's real demand or just, politeness?
That's the beauty of focusing on pure behavioral data. We are testing their willingness to part with currency before you ever write the first line of code or pay the first month's salary.
So what's the signal?
The failure signal is politeness, and it is rampant. If they say, oh, that's nice, or that sounds interesting, good luck when you launch it.
Which is what most people say.
It is a resounding failure. They're being friendly, which means they won't open their wallet.
The ultimate politeness filter. We should stop trusting people who say, that's interesting.
Absolutely. The success signal is crystal clear. Money. If they reply, can I pay you now? Or when does the waiting list open? I'll prepay. That is immediate, validated success. They move from mental agreement to behavioral commitment. That validates the effort and gives you immediate proof of concept.
This is the ultimate de-risker for capital and time. What is the profoundly skewed asymmetry of this painted door test?
Well, the downside is limited to the embarrassment or disappointment from being rejected by those 10 people.
That's the emotional tax.
That's it. But the upside is immediate revenue, proof of concept, and knowing exactly who your first customers are. This validates the effort, so you know exactly when it's time to move from the asymmetric experiment to the full strategic commitment.
The time and money saved by not building something nobody wants is the true infinite upside.
It really is. So let's synthesize this. The thesis tweet, the press release, and the painted door all adhere strictly to the asymmetry mental model.
Minimal cost, minimal risk.
But the potential payout saving years of your life pursuing the wrong path is life-changing.
So what's the first step?
Now, to take action today, the sources are completely clear on the immediate starting move. Go back and start with experiment B, the press release.
Start with the internal.
You have to.
Yeah.
You need that internal clarity and conviction first. You need to know that you must do this work.
Okay, so I challenge you right now. Spend those 20 focused minutes drafting that press release for the year 2035, defining your biggest possible success.
Do it.
And once you have it written, apply the final, most crucial check, the regret minimization filter. Ask yourself the exact question: if I don't attempt to make this press release true, will I regret it at age 80?
And be ruthlessly honest with yourself.
You have to be.
If the answer is no, then you throw it away. It's a low-value vision that won't sustain the necessary commitment. But if the answer is an uncomfortable, resounding yes, if the thought of looking back in 40 years and seeing that you chickened out on that specific vision fills you with dread, then you have just found the key to your bottleneck.
You have identified the high-value vision that commands your attention and justifies the risk.
That's the one. You don't need a perfect map of the whole dark room. You don't need a flawless 10-year plan that defines every single quarter and deliverable.
You just need to strike one match.
One match. One small asymmetric experiment to see if there is a path worth walking right in front of you. Go strike that match.